Gentlemen, you've been told all your life to be strong, to chase success, to get the girl, but no one taught you how to understand women on a deeper level. And the truth? Most men don't fail with women because they're not attractive. They fail because they're blind to her hidden emotional wiring. Today, I'm going to tell you what no one else will. The 10 hidden female weaknesses that, once understood, will make you powerful, not just in dating, but in life. These aren't tricks. These are truths rooted in human psychology, emotional intelligence, and raw experience. Because the truth is, women are complex but not mysterious. If you're paying attention, women crave emotional safety more than physical attraction. Forget the six-pack. She needs to know that when life hits, you won't fold. That when she's vulnerable, you stay steady. Emotional leadership, that's rare, that's desirable. She's attracted to certainty, even if it's wrong. Confidence isn't about being right, it's about being sure. If you're always second-guessing yourself, she will too. Be bold, own your path. She'll follow your fire, not your confusion. She watches how you treat yourself, not just her. If you respect yourself, your time, your goals, she knows you won't let her walk all over you. That's the kind of man she admires and can't help but respect back. Her mind is always scanning for emotional cues, a sigh, a shrug, a lack of eye contact. She reads between the lines, not what you say, but what you feel when you say it. If you're faking confidence, she'll sense it. So build the real thing. Women test you subconsciously to feel secure. When she challenges you, she's not trying to hurt you. She's trying to find out if you're stable. A woman needs to feel that your self-worth doesn't depend on her mood. Stay calm, don't react. She desires polarity, your masculine to her feminine. Don't try to be her girlfriend. Be the grounded, assertive, mission-driven man. That contrast, it ignites desire. Masculine energy isn't dominance, it's direction, purpose, and presence. She's drawn to men who know how to walk away. Neediness repels. Detachment attracts. When she knows you can live without her, she's far more likely to chase you. Why? Because self-sufficiency is rare and magnetic. She wants to feel chosen, not chased. Don't smother, choose her with intention, compliment her meaningfully, give her space and attention in balance. She needs to feel special, not stalked. Her loyalty is tied to how you make her feel about herself. People remember emotions, not logic. If she feels admired, safe, elevated around you, she'll attach. But if she feels judged, anxious, or unseen, she'll drift. Words matter. Vibe matters more. She hides her insecurities behind strength. That cold text, that distant tone, that I'm fine, often it's a cover-up for feeling not enough. Don't lecture her, understand her. The man who sees through her armor owns her heart. Now here's the secret sauce. You don't need to exploit these truths. You need to respect them, master them, honor them. Because when you understand a woman, her fears, her patterns, her unspoken needs, you're no longer reacting, you're leading. And that's the mark of a high-value man. Don't chase women. Understand women and let them chase you. Emotional safety is the silent force that governs much of a woman's attraction and attachment to a man, often more powerfully than physical appearance. While society often highlights external features like a chiseled jawline, toned physique, or stylish fashion sense, these attributes fade quickly if a woman feels emotionally unsafe. Emotional safety means she can express herself fully without fear of being judged, belittled, dismissed, or emotionally abandoned. It means being able to share her fears, her doubts, her desires, and know that the man in front of her will remain steady, grounded, and present, not reactive, insecure, or volatile. A woman doesn't just want a man who looks good standing next to her in photos. She wants someone who won't disappear when life gets hard, when she's moody, or when her emotions run deep and unpredictable. Many men don't realize this. She's not evaluating you solely on what you look like. She's feeling whether her emotions are safe in your presence. If you shut down every time she expresses discomfort, if you get defensive when she's hurt, or if you avoid conflict entirely, you silently signal that you are emotionally unsafe, even if you look like a movie star. This is why women often leave attractive men for someone who seems more emotionally tuned in, even if he's less conventionally good looking. Emotional safety breeds trust, and trust is the foundation of both emotional intimacy and physical passion. When she knows you won't weaponize her vulnerability or use her feelings against her later, she opens up more. And when she opens up emotionally, she opens up mentally, spiritually, and physically. On the flip side, the absence of emotional safety causes her to close off. You might not even notice it at first. She'll become more polite, less expressive, less playful. She won't argue, not because she agrees, but because she no longer feels like her voice matters. Eventually, she'll disconnect. She'll emotionally check out long before she physically walks away. The key isn't to solve all our problems or play therapist. It's to remain present and calm, to listen without fixing, to validate without overpowering, to hold space when she spirals instead of panicking or shutting her down. That presence, that patience, it's rare, and to a woman, it's more attractive than any six-pack or designer suit could ever be. Confidence and certainty carry a magnetic power that far outweighs the need to always be correct. While intelligence and knowledge can impress momentarily, it's the unwavering belief in oneself and the ability to move forward with conviction that captivates people, especially women. Confidence signals leadership, emotional strength, and an internal foundation that doesn't crumble under pressure. It shows that a man can stand on his own, make decisions, and carry responsibility even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. Certainty, in this sense, isn't. It's about being right all the time. It's about being grounded in who you are and where you're going, regardless of the external chaos. A man who constantly questions himself, hesitates with every move, or seeks validation before acting, creates tension and insecurity in his interactions. This doesn't make him a bad person, but it does make him harder to follow, trust, or desire. On the other hand, a man who acts with certainty, even if he occasionally makes mistakes, builds trust. His energy says, I've got this. And that message alone can calm a woman's nervous system and pull her closer. She doesn't need him to know everything. She needs him to believe in something, to take initiative, and to stand behind his words and actions with conviction. When a man speaks with confidence, he commands attention, not because he's louder, but because he's aligned. His words match his posture, his tone carries assurance, and his energy radiates inner strength. This alignment makes him trustworthy. It makes people believe in him. In contrast, a man who is obsessed with being technically right may win. He'll lose arguments, but lose attraction. He may prove a point, but come off as petty, rigid, or insecure. People don't bond over being right. They bond over how they feel around you. And confidence makes people feel safe, inspired, and led. Even in moments of uncertainty, confident men don't fall apart. They adjust, adapt, and continue forward with purpose. They don't seek permission to act, they act and then adapt. This boldness draws people in. It creates a gravitational pull that words alone can't replicate. Women in particular are deeply sensitive to this trait, not because they're looking for perfection, but because they want to feel the energy of a man who knows who he is, even when the world doesn't agree. That kind of certainty is rare, and it's unforgettable. A woman may listen to what you say and notice how you treat her, but one of the most revealing things she pays attention to, often subconsciously, is how you treat yourself. This isn't about arrogance or self-indulgence. It's about self-respect, discipline, and the way you carry your life. How you handle your body, your goals, your time, and your emotions speaks volumes about your inner value, and that directly influences how she values you. If you consistently neglect your own needs, abandon your goals, tolerate disrespect from others, or drown yourself in distractions, she will interpret that as a sign that you don't value yourself highly. And if you don't value yourself, why should she? A man who constantly sacrifices his time and energy to please others, especially at the cost of his own standards, standards may seem generous on the surface, but to a woman it often comes off as insecurity or lack of self-worth. She doesn't want a man who needs her validation to feel important. She wants a man who already knows his worth and lives accordingly. Women are incredibly intuitive. They notice the small things, the way you talk about yourself, whether you keep promises you make to yourself, how you react when someone crosses your boundaries. Do you let others disrespect you just to keep the peace? Do you say one thing and live another? Yes. Do you walk around with your shoulders slouched, your tone uncertain, always apologizing for your existence? If so, it doesn't matter how nice you are to her, she'll sense the disconnect between your words and your inner truth. On the other hand, when a man respects his own time, maintains healthy routines, sets and enforces boundaries, and speaks about himself with calm confidence, it creates an aura that commands respect. That kind of man doesn't have to beg for attention or chase approval. He becomes magnetic because he lives from a place of self-possession. He doesn't need to prove his value, he embodies it. Ultimately, how you treat yourself is the standard you teach the world to treat you by. And to a woman, that standard is everything. It tells her what kind of man you are, what kind of life you're building, and whether or not she can trust you to lead not just her, but yourself. That's where true attraction begins. Women are remarkably attuned to emotional signals, often picking up on subtle shifts in tone, body language, facial expressions, and energy before a single word is spoken. This sensitivity isn't weakness. It's a deeply wired survival mechanism shaped by evolution, social dynamics, and emotional intelligence. Women often rely on their emotional radar to gauge safety, authenticity, and intent. They may not always articulate what they're sensing, but they're constantly reading the room, especially when it comes to the man in front of them. Your words might say one thing, but your energy, your micro-expressions, your hesitations, your eye contact tells her the real story. This is why fake confidence never works. You can't just copy someone's alpha posture or rehearse lines from a dating coach. If what you're saying doesn't match how you feel, she will feel that inconsistency. She may not call it out directly, but she'll pull back, lose interest, or test you more. Women notice when you're secretly anxious, when your smile is forced, or when you're trying too hard to impress. It's not about being perfect, it's about being congruent. If you're nervous, own it. If you're angry, channel it constructively. If you're confident, let it be quiet and natural, not loud or performative. Women are especially sensitive to emotional shifts during intimate conversations. A slight pause, a flicker of doubt in your eyes, a defensive shrug. These moments tell her everything about your inner world. She's listening beyond the surface, trying to feel your truth. And when your emotional state is calm, grounded, and honest, it puts her at ease. But if you're guarded, erratic, or overly reactive, she will sense danger, not necessarily physical danger, but emotional instability. That instability repels her because it threatens her ability to open up and feel safe. The mistake many men make is thinking they need to say all the right things to win a woman over. In truth, it's your emotional state that matters most. If your energy communicates stability, confidence, and acceptance, you're already speaking the language she understands best. Your presence, tone, and timing carry more weight than the words themselves. Emotional fluency is power. And when a woman feels that you can not only express your own emotions, but also hold space for hers, you become rare, because most men never learn to master that, the level of emotional awareness. When a woman tests you, it's rarely about trying to provoke or control you. More often, these tests are subconscious ways of assessing your emotional strength, stability, and self-worth. She may not even realize she's doing it. These moments come in the form of sarcasm, teasing, emotional outbursts, pulling away, questioning your intentions, or setting sudden boundaries. On the surface, it might seem irrational or even frustrating, but underneath, she's scanning for consistency and leadership, trying to feel whether the man she's investing in is grounded or easily thrown off course. A woman's test is not a problem to solve. It's an opportunity to show her who you are. When she pushes your buttons, she's looking for your reaction, not your retaliation. If you become defensive, argumentative, or start begging for validation, she'll sense instability. On the other hand, if you remain composed, unshaken, and calm under pressure, she will feel safe, even if she doesn't admit it in that moment. Women want to feel that the man they're with is not emotionally dependent on their approval or trapped in insecurity. This is especially important in the early stages of attraction. A woman doesn't just want a strong man, she wants to know that his strength is real, that it's tested and proven. If a small mood swing or sarcastic comment causes you to spiral into self-doubt or over-explaining, it signals to her that your confidence is shallow. But when you respond with clarity, humor, or graceful detachment, she sees a man who knows his value and won't be easily shaken. Her tests aren't always conscious. Often they stem from her own fears of abandonment, betrayal, or being misled. She wants to know that your presence is solid, that your words mean something, and that you won't fold under emotional pressure. She might say something to challenge your opinion, act aloof, or go quiet during an emotional moment, not because she wants to hurt you, but because she's looking for assurance, not through words, but through how you hold yourself. The truth is, a woman's emotional tests are less about her and more about you. They're mirrors. They reflect whether you can stay centered, self-respecting, and decisive in moments of uncertainty. That's what makes a man trustworthy in her eyes, and that trust is the gateway to her deepest levels of attraction. Masculine polarity is the energetic contrast that sparks deep primal attraction between a man and a woman. It's not about dominance or control. It's about the presence, direction, and grounded energy that defines healthy masculinity. When a man embodies masculine polarity, he steps into a leadership role not through force, but through clarity, conviction, and stillness. This allows a woman to naturally fall into her feminine essence, which is rooted in flow, emotion, and connection. The stronger the contrast between the masculine and the feminine, the deeper the magnetic pull between them. In a world that often encourages men to soften their edges or suppress their assertiveness, many unknowingly neutralize this polarity. They become overly accommodating, hesitant, or emotionally reactive, trying to avoid conflict or gain approval. While this might seem like a thoughtful approach, it often has the opposite effect. It dulls the natural chemistry that women crave. A woman wants to feel your strength, not just physically, but emotionally and energetically. She wants to sense that you know who you are, where you're going, and that you can handle both her softness and her storms without losing your center. Masculine polarity shows up in how you move, how you speak, and how you lead. And when it's revealed, when you make decisions with confidence, stand by your values without flinching, and remain calm in the face of emotional intensity. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about being so grounded that her emotional waves don't pull you out of yourself. That creates safety. That creates desire. When she feels your masculine presence, she relaxes. She doesn't have to lead. She can trust. She can surrender. The polarity isn't about inequality. It's about complementary forces. Just like a battery needs positive and negative charge to generate power, relationships thrive on the electric dynamic between masculine and feminine energies. If you both show up in the same energetic state, either too masculine or too feminine, the spark fades. But when the balance is right, the attraction becomes undeniable, almost instinctual. A woman may not articulate this directly, but she feels it. She feels it when you walk into the room with quiet certainty. She feels it when you listen with presence instead of trying to fix. She feels it when you move with purpose, speak with intent, and live from your mission. That's masculine polarity, and it's what draws her in at the deepest level. Equality, detachment, and independence possess a magnetic quality that draws women in, not because they signify disinterest, but because they communicate strength, self-sufficiency, and emotional control. When a man is detached, not from emotion or connection, but from neediness and outcome, he becomes a mystery, a challenge, and a presence that commands respect. Women instinctively sense when a man does not place his entire identity or happiness on her attention or approval. That energetic freedom creates space for true attraction to flourish. An independent man is not waiting to be completed by a relationship. He is already complete. His goals, passions, and purpose guide his life, and while he may want a woman by his side, he does not need her to validate his worth. This creates an aura of confidence that is both rare and deeply attractive. When a woman sees that a man is content in his own skin, that he isn't trying to impress her or win her over, she becomes intrigued. She wonders why he's not chasing, why he's not fawning, and what it is about his world that gives him such peace and purpose. A detachment in this context is not emotional coldness, it's emotional mastery. It means a man can experience desire without desperation, care deeply without losing himself, and walk away from anything that compromises his integrity or vision. That kind of power is impossible to fake. It shows up in how he responds to drama, how he handles silence, and how he maintains his boundaries without apology. He's not controlled by emotion, nor is he avoiding it. He simply refuses to let external circumstances dictate his internal state. Ironically, the less a man clings, the more a woman wants to hold on. The more he values his time and space, the more she wants to be part of his world. This doesn't mean being aloof or playing games. It means living with intention, clarity, and a sense of mission that remains unshaken whether she stays or goes. A man who can let go is the one most women want to hold on to. Attraction thrives on tension, and independence creates that tension. It communicates that while he may desire her, he will never revolve around her. That dynamic challenges her, excites her, and pulls her deeper into his orbit, not because she has to, but because she chooses to. A woman wants to feel chosen, not pursued aggressively, because deep down she craves to be desired in a way that honors her autonomy and dignity. While every woman enjoys being pursued to some extent, the nature of that pursuit matters immensely. If a man is constantly chasing her, trying too hard to win her affection, or seeking validation through her attention, it can quickly feel like pressure rather than attraction. The difference between pursuit and being chosen lies in the energy behind it. Pursuit often stems from neediness, desperation, or insecurity, while being chosen is about recognition, value, and mutual respect. When a man makes a woman feel chosen, he's offering her something of value that she can't simply get from anyone. It's the quiet, confident recognition of her worth without forcing her to prove hers. To be chosen means that the man has made a decision based on who she is to invest his time, his energy, and his focus in her. This creates a sense of exclusivity that is far more powerful than any aggressive pursuit. It makes her feel seen, valued, and special, not because she's the one being chased, but because she's the one he's decided to prioritize. Women don't want to feel like they are just one option in a line of others, or that they are merely a trophy to be won. They want to feel that they have earned the man's genuine attention through who they are as a person, not through competition or games. When a man pursues too aggressively, it can come off as needy or insecure, and often this pushes her away. It creates an imbalance in the dynamic where she feels like she has the power to withhold affection and he's the one chasing approval. This can erode her attraction because it places her in a position where she feels like she is in control, but not in a way that feels empowering or exciting. On the other hand, when a man chooses a woman, he doesn't make her feel like she's simply the object of his pursuit. Instead, she feels like she is a valued part of his world, someone who complements his life rather than completes it. It's about creating an energy of mutual admiration and respect. She wants to know that she is not just a prize to be won, but a woman whose presence and essence have been recognized and appreciated by the man who has chosen her. That is the kind of attraction that is both deep and lasting. A woman's loyalty is often not something that can be demanded, but something that is earned over time, and it's rooted in how a man makes her feel emotionally. While loyalty might seem like an abstract concept, it is deeply tied to the emotional bond that forms between a man and a woman. It's not just about treating her with respect, offering her material gifts, or promising her the world. It's about how you make her feel on a deeper emotional level. A woman will remember how you made her feel during moments of vulnerability, how you responded to her emotions, and whether you made her feel safe, heard, and cherished. When a man is emotionally present and available, it creates a sense of safety and trust that allows a woman to fully open her heart. She will feel that her emotions matter to him and that she's not just being tolerated or placated, but truly understood. This emotional connection builds the foundation for loyalty. Women are often driven by emotional resonance rather than logic when it comes to relationships. While they may logically understand that a man is good for them, they're the emotional bond that cements their loyalty. If a woman feels emotionally neglected or unimportant, she may remain in the relationship, but her heart is not fully invested. She might start to withdraw emotionally and physically because her emotional needs are not being met. A man who makes a woman feel valued, loved, and supported on an emotional level invites her loyalty naturally. This doesn't mean showering her with constant praise or empty gestures. It means showing up for her in ways that resonate deeply with her. It's about providing the emotional stability that allows her to feel secure, respected, and appreciated. It's about being consistent, being there for her when she needs comfort, and being strong enough to hold space for her emotions without trying to fix or dismiss them. When a woman feels emotionally secure in her relationship, her loyalty will naturally follow because she feels safe and valued. Furthermore, a woman's emotional connection to a man is often a reflection of how he treats his own emotion. If a man is in tune with himself, self-aware, and can express his emotions healthily, he sets a standard that invites her to do the same. This emotional openness fosters intimacy, which deepens the bond. When she feels emotionally safe with him, she will be more likely to invest her loyalty and trust. Her loyalty comes not from what he does for her externally, but from how he makes her feel emotionally, seen, understood, and cherished. Apparent coldness is often a defense mechanism designed to protect deep insecurities that lie beneath the surface. When a person appears distant or aloof, it's easy to assume they are emotionally detached or uninterested. However, more often than not, this behavior masks vulnerability, fear, and self-doubt. The person may push others away not because they don't care, but because they are afraid of getting hurt or rejected. Coldness in this context is a wall they've built to guard their fragile emotions, preventing anyone from getting too close or seeing their true self. For many, emotional vulnerability feels like a weakness, and the fear of being judged, misunderstood, or rejected can be overwhelming. As a result, they adopt a cold exterior, hoping it will keep them safe from the pain of emotional exposure. Beneath that facade, there may be a deep-seated fear of inadequacy or a lack of self-worth. The cold behavior is often a reflection of the person's internal struggles, a protective layer meant to shield their fragile sense of self-esteem from external threats. The harder they appear on the outside, the more likely it is that they are struggling with deep emotional turmoil that they don't know how to express. This emotional distance can manifest in various ways. Through silence, indifference, or a lack of emotional engagement. These actions are often misinterpreted as signs of apathy or detachment, but they can be a cry for understanding or a sign that the person is deeply afraid of being vulnerable. Coldness in this sense is not a rejection of others, but a rejection of the possibility of being hurt. The person may believe that keeping their emotions locked away will help them avoid rejection, criticism, or failure. At the core of this coldness is often an inability to trust others with their innermost feelings. They may have been hurt in the past, leaving them hesitant to open up again. The cold demeanor becomes a survival tactic, a way to protect themselves from further emotional wounds. Unfortunately, this behavior also prevents meaningful connections from forming, leaving the person feeling isolated and misunderstood. While they may project an image of strength and control, the reality is that their insecurities are quietly dictating their actions and relationships. Women often crave presence more than words, because true connection is forged not through what is spoken, but through the energy and attention a man brings when he is fully present. Words can be meaningful, and thoughtful communication is important, but it is the way a man shows up emotionally, physically, and mentally that truly captures her heart. If in moments of vulnerability, when a woman is seeking comfort, reassurance, or simply a deeper bond, it is not the perfect phrases or eloquent speeches that matter most, but the quality of his attention and his ability to be fully immersed in the moment with her. Presence is about being attuned to her emotions, paying attention to the small cues she gives off, her body language, her tone, and her silences. It's not about having the right thing to say, but about offering a safe, supportive, and non-judgmental space where she can fully express herself without fear of being misunderstood or dismissed. When a man is truly present, his focus is entirely on her, his distractions are put aside, and his attention is undivided. This presence creates a profound emotional connection, one that speaks volumes without the need for excessive words. Many women are used to a world where words are used as tools of negotiation, persuasion, or even manipulation. In contrast, presence is something far more authentic. It's not something that can be faked or manufactured. When a man is present, he shows through his actions, his gaze, and his body language that he values her, that he is not just hearing her, but truly listening. It communicates a deep respect for her as an individual, for her thoughts, and for her emotional world. It makes her feel seen and validated in a way that words alone often cannot. A woman's heart responds to presence because it signals emotional depth and maturity. Words can often be empty or shallow, but presence is the embodiment of care, compassion, and understanding. It's in the way a man holds space for her, supports her when she's struggling, and celebrates her victories. The emotional resonance of presence creates a stronger and more lasting bond than any carefully crafted phrase. It's the silent communication that tells her she is cherished, not just for what she says or does, but for who she is in that moment. Understanding a woman deeply makes you not only irresistible, but also highly respected, because it reflects a level of emotional intelligence, attentiveness, and care that most people rarely receive. When a man truly understands a woman, it goes beyond surface-level interactions. It's about recognizing her unique qualities, her values, fears, dreams, and the nuances of her personality. This depth of understanding allows him to connect with her on a level that transcends physical attraction, creating a bond that feels intimate and real. Women are not just drawn to men who are capable of understanding them. They are naturally attracted to those who listen intently, observe deeply, and respond with empathy. When a man makes the effort to understand her, he signals that he values her, not just for her external qualities, but for her inner world as well. This respect for her emotional landscape fosters trust and a sense of security. It's in those small moments when he remembers things she said in passing, when he supports her in ways that show he's tuned into her needs, or when he can sense when she's feeling off and offers a compassionate response. It's about recognizing her moods, acknowledging her struggles, and celebrating her triumphs, not because he feels obligated, but because he truly cares. That kind of understanding makes her feel special and seen in a way that most others fail to provide. Respect also naturally flows from this understanding. When a man shows that he's not just superficially engaged, but genuinely interested in the complexity of who she is, he earns her admiration. It demonstrates that he isn't intimidated by her depth. nor is he threatened by her independence. Instead, he appreciates the uniqueness that makes her who she is. He doesn't try to fix or change her. Instead, he accepts her fully and without judgment. This creates a space where she feels free to express herself authentically, knowing she won't be dismissed or misunderstood. Moreover, understanding a woman deeply makes a man irresistible because it establishes a deeper emotional connection. Physical attraction can spark interest, but it is emotional resonance that fosters long-term desire. When a woman feels understood, respected, and valued for the full extent of who she is, she becomes drawn to the man in a way that goes beyond surface-level attraction. It is this emotional bond forged through deep understanding that sustains and deepens attraction, making a man not just wanted, but cherished. Gentlemen, understanding these hidden truths isn't about gaining control, it's about cultivating connection. The strongest men aren't the loudest or the flashiest. They're the ones who lead with awareness, confidence, and presence. They don't chase, they attract. They don't dominate, they understand. When you recognize what truly moves a woman's heart, you stop playing games and start building real, lasting attraction. These weaknesses aren't flaws, they're gateways to deeper intimacy. And if you can hold space for a woman's complexity without judgment or fear, you'll not only earn her respect, but you'll unlock a level of love and loyalty most men never experience. To rise above the noise, lead yourself first. And remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about being present, grounded, and real. The man who gets this, he becomes unforgettable.